Hey guys, I am here to do a process video for you. I know it's been forever, it's been a long time, so I'm going to be a little rusty, I'm sure. But I sat down and did a layout today, and I got a new contraption to record it, and so thought I would go ahead and do a voiceover and talk you through it. So even though I end up changing the layout after the video is done, what I did was I went ahead and put pictures at the end. I didn't change it drastically. I just took off a section of supplies, like one of the clusters I had created. So anyway, just a heads up that I make that change after the fact. And I actually made that change because I was doing a first voiceover. I won't tell you how many I've done because they've made some changes in the app that I use, and so I've had to do this a few times. But anyway, when I was doing my first voiceover and I got to a certain point, I was like, oh, I like that better than how it ended up. And so I went through and kind of redid it, a little bit of it. So anyway, so just so you know, you will have two options. It's like choose your adventure. You can choose option 1, which is how the video ends, or option 2, the pictures at the end. So they're both lovely. They're both fine. Just I ended up liking more of the minimalist approach when it was all said and done. So okay, so I'm working with this kit that I talked about a few videos ago. It's a ginormous kit. It's a bunch of Chamel and Amy Tangerine lines mixed together. They're all very bright and colorful. They match really well. And I really wanted to just play with this some more before I separate it out because I have a lot left, obviously. So first off, I wanted to prioritize using scraps. And so that's the pile I go to first. I'm just figuring out the paper situation, kind of figure out what direction I'm going to go. And so I'll just pull, and this is typically what I do. I'll just pull a bunch of papers that I think would work. Not that they're all going to get used, but at least I create my own like mini page kit so I can put everything else away and not have to deal with it again. And so that's what I'm doing now. And you'll see I change directions, like color directions here pretty soon. But just because of the picture and the story, and I just found some a paper, a pattern, and colors that worked better with the story. And so, but it just takes kind of filtering through things and figuring it out. I really wanted to have some papers that had green in it, like she's wearing a green top, and it's a pretty specific color of green, and I knew that there were some papers that had that in it, and so that was kind of what I was looking for. So I looked through the scraps. I'm going to look through the 6x6 paper pads because, again, those are the two things I like to get used up because they take up quite a bit of space before I start tearing into a bunch of 12x12 paper because, of course, you always end up with scraps of that anyway. So I'd rather use up the scraps, use up the smaller papers, get them out of my stash. This has that perfect green, so I pull that. I do end up using it as a layer for the photo. Or behind the photo. And when I'm filtering through the 12x12 papers, that's when and that paper actually would have been nice too, but I came across this really fun emoji paper that I'm not for sure how else I would have ever used it, but when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's kind of perfect, just because it's just kind of a funny story. And so I love those coffee cups. I'm like, yep, that's perfect. Because it's just a silly, funny photo and story. But you can tell that the saturation of the colors are completely different. And so I kind of have to go in a different direction because it's, those two don't really work well together. And so I go ahead and decide to go that direction and put the other papers away. And then I have to go back to my scraps to find more papers that match that saturation of color and that color scheme. So yeah, I'm just going to go back to the scraps really quickly. I think I pull, 2 or 3 more sheets. And you guys, I know I could edit some of this out, and I could edit out even the ending and change, but as many of you know, I guess for any of you who have watched me for a little bit of time, whether I'm doing a face-to-face video or I'm doing a scrapbooking video, I don't like to edit. I'm not, I haven't, and nor do I want to put the time into that. I can stop and start over more times than I can count sometimes, but I'm just not a huge fan of sitting down and learning it and figuring it out. That's not my skill set. That's not what I do. And so you all know that you're going to see my whole process. You're going to see me, changing things up over and over. You're going to see me tucking things in, taking it back out. But that's part of the process. Like sometimes it's good to see people do that. That's part of the process. It's, using your eye to figure out, okay, that works or that doesn't work, but you have to put the items in different places to see. And that's kind of how you train your eye to know what it likes, is by doing that. And so I like to show that in the videos. I like to show, me organizing my supplies and getting ready and going through everything, and kind of, it's almost like you can see my thought process a little bit. And I'm also trying to talk about it as well. But anyway, so this is my container that had just all the stuff, all the things. So I have stickers, and I'm just going to separate them out. So the top left pile is my alphas and stickers. And then on the top right, I'm going to be putting all like the looser pieces, the smaller detail finishing kinds of pieces. And then all the loose stuff will just stay in the bin, and I'll just filter through it. So I've used a lot. So a lot of these are getting, where I just have a couple left on some of them, but I still have a lot that I do want to use up. And I mean, these cut apart, well, every paper pad and collection has a bazillion cut apart. So, I'll always have a plethora of them. There's a lot in here because it's a lot of collections. So, but so this is like my next step. So I have my papers. I know I'm going to be doing some layering and whatever with them, but then I know my next step is going to be my larger layers. So, my ephemera pieces, my larger stickers, journaling cards, maybe title cards, possibly, all this stuff that I'm going to, use to kind of create my layers. And I found this word crazy. I'm like, that's perfect. And so that's kind of where I'm at now, is I'm just filtering through, and some of these pieces are smaller. And if I think that they might work, I'll pull them too, but I'm just going to pull, because now I have a color scheme. I know that there's going to be lots of fun color in this layout. So I can go now and pick out some of the solid colored pieces that are going to help, bring all that together. And so that's what I'm doing now, is just filtering through. One of Chamel's lines, or maybe two of them, had a lot of purple in it. There's really no purple in any of this. So you'll see some of that. And you'll see I actually use a sticker later on that has purple in it. And I'm like, yep, nope, that's not working. So one of the collections I probably could pull out of this whole kit, because it's a little bit more like babyish, a little bit. Like the colors are more light blues and purples and light pinks. But I'll probably just keep it all together. It's totally fine. Anyway, so I'm not for sure what is what. It seems like most of what I feel like most of what I'm seeing is Chamel, but there's a lot of Amy Tan stuff in here too, so it's a good mix. Lots and lots of cut aparts. And I'm looking at words, I'm looking at phrases. Okay, does this make sense with the photo? Or if the phrase doesn't work, am I going to be able to tuck it in far enough to get to where I just use the color part of it? Anyway. Alrighty, so now I think I'm ready to start putting the page together. And sorry, you guys are going to hear a microwave here shortly. I'm going to heat up my coffee. So now I've kind of created myself like kind of like a little mini kit. So I have a little small group of papers, small group of ephemera pieces, and then of course I have all the stickers and things to go through, but sorry guys. So I just start layering. This is typically what I do. Like, I have a ton of sketches that I've been seeing on Instagram and Facebook that I really like, oh, I want to do that. So I do have a lot of layouts I want to make. But today I wasn't really about that. I wasn't that prepared. I just wanted to make a quick page before I had to get the kids from school. And I wanted to get a video up for you all. And so I just sat down and I printed a photo and I just started scrapbooking. So when I do that, I typically just kind of go to my norm, which is putting a bunch of fun patterns behind the picture, creating some kind of cluster somewhere else, and calling it good. That just is where I'm at right now. Sometimes you go through these phases where you have certain things that you love, and that is just the way I scrapbook right now. I love that look. I love the look of having kind of a main area and then a little cluster that matches it somewhere else on the page, usually on an edge of some sort. That's what I do. So when I don't have a class that I'm doing or a sketch I'm following, that tends to be my go-to process. Nothing wrong with having a go-to process at all. Sometimes it's nice not to have to think too hard about it. It's just fun to play with the paper and just glue stuff down. So. So I printed this photo on my Canon Selphy, which I really like. I actually take it with me to my scrapbook weekends and print all my photos there from my phone. I used to have this really great process where I uploaded, well, I hardly use my SLR anymore, but back when I was using both my phone and my SLR, I would just, like, once a month, I would upload all my photos from both of them. I would edit them, I'd send them to Shutterfly, I'd print them, and I'd have them in hand. And I'd have them organized by month on my computer. And guys, now I haven't used my SLR since Hawaii. I take it on vacation. I use it Hawaii. I used it the year before that at Disney World, or was that 2 years before that? I haven't used it since. I use my phone. I'm sure I'm not the only one. That's probably very common. They haven't made it very easy to upload pictures from your phone to your computer. It just isn't easy. So I use Google Photos, but I don't always get along with Google Photos either when it comes to that part of my process. And I think that's user error on my part. I need to figure that out. So what I do is I just don't do that process anymore. Actually, I have Shutterfly app on my phone, and it's supposed to be uploading all my photos as well. So between Google Photos, Shutterfly, I have backup of my pictures. But as far as printing them, I've just come to find that it's easier for me to, I have a nice photo printer, and every once in a while I'll print photos on there, like for my Hawaii album, which hopefully I'll get back to at some point. Because that's it's probably about a fifth of the way done, maybe. So I have a lot of work to do on that. I'll print those, because I'm doing multiple sizes. I'll do that on my photo printer. But when it comes to just a 4x6 photo, or now they even have an app where you can do your collages, the Canon Selphy is just easiest for me. I have it set up in my living room next to my desk. I can just print really quickly. It's easy to travel with. I actually have two of them. I have an older one and then a newer one. So my goal is to keep my newer one here, take my older one with me on crops, but I couldn't get to it last time, so I took my newer one with me. Sometimes I have issues with internet. With hotel internet is always a little shaky. And I'm sure that there has to be a way I can plug my phone to it. I just haven't figured that out yet. I just need to sit down and read the book, the directions. Anyway, I take it with me and I print my photos as we're scrapbooking. So while I'm working on a page, I'll just, every few minutes I'll set up a new picture to print, and the printer will just be constantly going, which is kind of annoying, I guess, as far as noise is concerned. It's not that loud. But it's just easier for me to do it that way because it's enough for me to prep to be gone for 4 days, to pack scrapbooking stuff, pack overnight, clothes and stuff like that, and then to prepare the family for me being gone and trying to clean the house and that kind of stuff. So it just takes one of those things off my list of having to do before I go on those weekends. And so it seems to work out. Sometimes I get frustrated, like I said, with the Wi-Fi or whatever, but it really hasn't. I mean, I've been able to print off plenty of pictures. And one thing I have to keep in mind is to make sure I have enough of the ink and the paper with me. So I need to order that ahead of time. But anyway, so Canon selfie, I'm happy with it. But I'm not a huge like quality snob either. Like my pictures don't have to be perfect. I just want to tell the story. I just want to like scrapbook the picture, and so I'm not like it has to be perfect in order for me to scrapbook it. So like this picture is not perfect at all. Like the coloring's bad, and my phone changed. Like I had it down to where I could edit my photos easier, and now I think it's all different, so I need to figure that out too. But I rarely edit the photos. So anyway, that's just me. I'm obviously not into editing things, is kind of the moral of the story. Okay, so as you can see, okay, this is a big mistake right here. This is what I end up taking off because it has purple in it. Like, where did the purple come from? I mean, it's super cute, but it doesn't match at all. So I created, I used the emoji paper strip at the bottom, and the richness of the little faces match, even though that pattern paper, you don't see it in the main cluster. The colors are the same, or very similar, and the richness of the colors are similar to that large like paintbrush watercolory striped paper behind the photo. So really the two kind of main areas really work well together, even though they're not the exact same papers. So I just kind of built up this bottom a little bit just for the title and pulled some of those pattern paper strips, strips of the same pattern papers down to the bottom to kind of keep that cohesive. And trying to just do a little cluster kind of there by the title. And then, of course, I'll be embellishing around the photo as well. But not with the today is the best day ever, or is the best ever. I take that off. And I popped out of that with, there's these rectangular pop dots that Hobby Lobby has. They're like in a, like they have them organized like in a circle. And there's a lot of them. I don't know how many, but I love them. They're nice because they're easy to cut in half if you don't need the full one. They're big enough to do that, but they're also great and big enough to pop up larger things instead of having to use 15 million of the little ones. But they're very sticky. And so I learned that today because it was this, I actually got it off this time, but I do it again later. I don't get it off. And so, when you see the photos at the end, you'll see I had to put an embellishment over that spot because I ultimately wasn't able to get the adhesive off. But you just got to go with it, right? You just got to figure it out. So now I was going through the pile I kind of pulled aside. I'll go through each sticker sheet and just start kind of doing the embellishing phase. Try to balance my colors, from the top to the bottom. Kind of make sure everything's kind of represented and even. I'm really liking it. Besides the fact I can see the base, I got a new, I can never think of what it's called. A new holder for my phone, which is my camera. It's not really a tripod. It's like a standing base. I spent a little bit more money and got a really nice one. And I think it's a very good quality. But I couldn't get it, and it might just be because my desk isn't wide enough, but I couldn't get it to where I couldn't see the base. So that little black thing on the top, that's just going to have to be in my videos from here on out, you guys. I can't figure out how to not. I tried sideways. I tried all kinds of different ways. And couldn't figure out how to not have that in the picture. But honestly, guys, it's not bothering me because you're seeing, piles anyway. But I'm really liking this setup. The coloring seems good. The lighting seems good. I like even the distance seems to be good. So let me know what you guys think if it works. I've been struggling with that for a long time, and I finally found something that extended up enough to where, because my issue was everything I was finding, it wouldn't go tall enough. When you're talking 12 by 12 layouts, you know, you kind of need to go up a little bit. So. All right, so what should I talk about while I'm tinkering here? Oh, powder tool. I love this thing. It's so handy when you have stickers that you may or may not want to use and you want to be able to move them around and kind of look and do the trial and error thing. That powder tool is awesome for that. So let's see. So what's going on? So I want to say thank you to everyone who commented on my last video, my life update, channel update thing. Really appreciate you guys are so sweet. I don't say that enough. I really, really appreciate you guys, especially this last year when I haven't really been doing a whole lot, kind of year and a half actually. Haven't been doing a whole lot, haven't been super active, but I just appreciate you guys hanging with me, and you know, you're just supportive comments, and I'm not always great about answering questions, so I apologize if you've commented on some of my videos and asked me questions. I apologize, because what happens is I'm usually at work and it comes through my email, like I have a comment or a question, and I can reply to it there, but then I'm having to do stuff on my phone, and I'm not a huge fan of typing out messages on my phone because of autocorrect, and then if I'm at work, if I have a customer come in, I could get interrupted, and I could anyway. So I always tell myself, okay, when I get home, I'll get on my computer, I'll go to each video and I'll answer people's questions or, respond to their comments. And it never gets done. It just doesn't. It's just one of those things. So I want to tell you guys all, I read them, I appreciate them, and thank you for them. Maybe one of these days I'll go through, if there's any questions that come, that aren't maybe about a specific layout. If there's any general questions, maybe I'll do like a face-to-face where I answer questions or something. I don't know. No one would probably be interested in that, so anyway. So that yellow tag I love because it kind of, I had a lot of yellow going, that yellow camera and the little yellow strip along the top. So that yellow tag was great for bringing that down to the bottom cluster there. And I like that there's a couple cameras on here too, because part of the funny story was that I caught her in this predicament. She's kind of stuck, hanging upside down off of the bed. And then my response was, I'm going to get my camera and take a picture of you and make you laugh more, because she was just laughing hysterically. And so I'm like, cheese. And then she's laughing, don't take a picture, Mom. And she's laughing. It's so funny. So I really like that, that I got a couple cameras on the page, because it's kind of part of the story. So, okay. So this right clustery area that I'm working on now, and you're just saying, I'm going to move the whole thing over and blah, blah, blah. It's what I end up taking off. And I think the reason is that My Happy, which I really, really like, the colors are good, but it's very, what's what I'm looking for? It has a Hawaiian feel to it, a tropical feel to it. The sticker does. And so that just kind of threw me off a little bit. And so I had to say, okay, I'm going to take off the My Happy. But then, like I said, I end up liking not having really any cluster on the right. I end up having to have one sticker to cover up the adhesive. And then I end up doing a tiny, one other sticker and a couple little hearts. So I end up with a little tiny cluster. But it's nothing compared, how it ends up is nothing compared to what I end up doing here. It just ends up, I think, just being a little bit too much. But it's super cute. I mean, it just ended up being too much. So you guys, what's all new in the scrapbook industry? I know I've been in a Creativation thing just wrapped up, but as far as the YouTube world, I'm sure a lot has changed, or is everyone still doing all their new people I should be checking out, or their crazy new inspiration I should check out? Let me know, because like I said, I haven't been doing the YouTube thing for a while, so that includes watching. So let me know if there's someone I should check out, or if you have a page you want me to check out, I'll come follow you. Let me know in the comments. Again, in my last video, if you haven't watched it, I talked about how you might be seeing some new types of videos show up on this page. And also that if you want, I don't do a ton of scrapbooky stuff on Facebook, but I do some. But feel free to get on Facebook and friend me. It's Nicole Gardner Mackin, Nicole Gardner Mackin. Because I have decided that I'm going to do all my stuff through my personal Facebook page, because before I had like multiple pages for different things. I had a scrapbooking Facebook page, essential oil Facebook page, and I'm like, this is too much Facebook page. So YouTube, I'm doing the same thing. I had an essential oil YouTube page, and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to have two channels. So I'm going to start doing essential oil stuff, videos, education on this page as well. So, but you know, I'll still do scrapbooking stuff too. It's going to be both. But if you get a chance, watch my last video. I did a little update, talked about that a little bit. And that's just kind of a fun addition to, or will be a fun addition, I think, to this channel. Some of you may not be interested, some may be interested in both. Hey, it's all good. I know some scrapbookers that I used to watch a lot of have other interests and stuff that they're, they're YouTubing about, and if I'm not interested, I just kind of don't watch them, and I go to the ones I do like to watch, and it's kind of fun to have a variety to choose from. So anywho, so I'm just going through all these little sticker sheets and detail pieces, and you can see I've used a lot. Like, there's some of the sticker sheets that only have a couple left, and some of these okay guys, I don't know, it's almost looking like I'm going to apologize. This is like the 4th time, so I'm not going to do this over again, but it looks like it's getting kind of choppy. And this was a 2-part video, and I was positive I set both parts to 1.5 times, because then it's kind of it's sped up, but it's like fluid. When you get to like 2 times, it gets choppy like this. So I'm just wondering if this last little bit didn't get set to the right speed. So I apologize if it looks a little choppy, but guys, I can't do it over again because I just can't. I can't. But we're about done here anyway. So I'm going to apologize. Looks like this last little bit looks a little funky. But anyway, just make sure here in the next minute that you check out the pictures, because that will actually be what the layout looked like. That right side was it was too much. I liked the phrases, I liked the words, I liked the colors even. But it was just, I just looked back at it, I'm like, oh, I like it better when it wasn't there. So check out the pictures at the end, you'll see what it looked like. I think I did maybe a little even more journaling. And I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for being patient with me. I appreciate it. And I'm going to try to work with this collection of supplies a little bit longer. Although I'm really like anxious to get like the kit love going again and start working, like pulling new supplies out of and kit and playing within a smaller kit. So looking forward to doing that. So, but I just feel like I need to play with this stuff a little bit longer. And right now I'm pretty happy with the number of layouts I've gotten done with it, but still have a ton left. So thank you guys so much. Okay, so there's round 1 and here's round 2. So you can see I like really decreased the amount of stuff on the right side. I think it looks a lot cleaner and nicer. Added a couple of those little hearts, and really it was just fun. It was fun to play with paper. Thank you so much for watching. Happy scrapping. Bye bye.